Hello everyone, welcome back to the Fern Computer Science Academy YouTube channel. This is our first real video. We're going to be talking about installing Python on your computer and installing PyCharm. And if you don't know what PyCharm is, that is okay. You're going to find out today. So the very first thing that I need to do is open up... Wow, I'm really bright on the screen. I just noticed that. Okay. I wonder if I can turn the brightness down. Sorry, I have no intention of editing these videos for exact super Hollywood style quality, so you're gonna get to see me make some mistakes because you know what I say, that failure is the rule and success is the exception. So maybe I can come in here and tone down the brightness a little bit on this guy. Is that better? Yeah, I mean that looks pretty good. Okay, cool. Yeah, where was I? Back to Google Chrome. I recommend Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox. I do not recommend Internet Explorer. I do not recommend Microsoft Edge browser. Yeah, sorry. That's just my thoughts on that. Hard opinions on those things. Definitely don't recommend Internet Explorer. Microsoft Edge, you might get away with that. Alright, so let's go to python.org. And hopefully you can see that. I haven't figured out how to do the cool zoom in thing, but I will keep it zoomed in for when I'm doing the coding and when I'm coding and when we are actually on a site. Like you'll see here in a second, we go to Python, this is super zoomed in, right? So you should be able to see everything I'm doing. Just Control plus 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 plus. Yeah, so we go to python.org here. We're going to download Python 3.6.5 for Windows. If you're on a Linux or Mac, you'll have some alternative options here. You can go to Mac OS X and see what they got there. Still, we're looking for Python 3.6.5, and as soon as you click this, it's going to start downloading. Oh, I've already got it in my downloads, so let's go over there. Downloads. Python, somewhere in here. Yeah. Oh, I've got 3.6.4 on there too. Oh, I wonder if I'm running 3.6.4. I am. Might as well go ahead and install the new one. Yeah, hey, why not? I was gonna stop this installation because I thought I already had it on there, but I don't have 3.6.5. Might as well get that latest and greatest edition. Hopefully it doesn't break everything. Oh, let me slow down. Okay, when we run this, we want to do either upgrade now or customize installation. For you, I want you to customize installation. Make sure that everything in here is included. So you're going to want to do it for all users. That might require you to run, like we do at school, I have to come in and type in my password and stuff, but you should be the admin of your computer, okay? So we're getting install for all users right here. This is important. Associate files with Python. What this means is that any file ending in a .py file extension, like I'm sure you all have seen a .xls or a .docx or a .txt file extension. Those are all file extensions. They identify to the operating system what kind of file that is. Okay. In this case, this version of Python 3.6.5 will associate files ending in .py with Python. We will actually override that later, but we're just going to keep it as is for now. We're going to create shortcuts. Sure, why not? We're also going to add Python to our environment variables, and what that means is that it's going to change the way we run some things from the command line, which we won't have to worry about too much, but just set it that way anyway. So you have all your T's crossed and I's dotted. Click install, and it's going to take a minute. I hope I figure out how to edit this video so that it doesn't take too long and it fast forwards to the end. But hey, if I don't, let's stick here together for a moment and just kind of, a little bit of this going on. Why not? 3.6.5 standard library, 32-bit. Hey, you know what we could do is just stop all this nonsense and listen to a song called Careless Whisper. Here we go. We're going to listen to George Michael's Careless Whisper right now. This is copyrighted. less than 30 seconds, so just pretend it's on. Still adore the song, rest in peace. Yep. Okay. George Michael. Oh, come on, Python. It does take a minute. I'll tell you all what I'm using for my little streaming recording setup here. I've got a Logitech C920 camera. Got that off Amazon.com. Thanks, Jeff Bezos. Maybe you can throw a little cash money my way for this YouTube channel, am I right? And then I also have a Samson mini microphone. If you all could see this thing, and in fact you may, if I bring it in for you to record stuff on, it is just a little cutie. It's a very small little microphone, but it is effective, from what I can tell. It took me a while to get it set up so that the keyboard, I have a mechanical keyboard here at home. I highly recommend you get one for yourself. This is Cherry Brown's Ducky 1. I have a Ducky Shine over here, and I'll show it to you. Yes. Cherry Blues. I don't type as much on this one anymore. It's very loud, as you can hear, but very nice. So, I recommend. Now, maybe Ducky will give me money, too. I brought this mechanical keyboard to the Student Action Symposium, and the girls who code were obsessed with it, and then they spent 30 minutes of the next Girls Who Code meeting just looking at mechanical keyboards. I had to tell them to stop. Stop it. Okay, you know what? While this is going on, let me show you something else. This is what we're going to do. So I want you to open a new Tabarino in your Google Chrome. I want you to type in JetBrains PyCharm, and you don't need to. I mean, okay. So something else we'll learn. You will learn if you watch these videos, because you're going to see me Google a lot of stuff. Is Google Fu, right? And I mean like Kung Fu, Google Fu. Learning how to Google things is one of the most important assets to a developer. And I know you're thinking to yourself, like, how could I learn to Google things any better? And I promise you that you can. I watch your Google queries. They're interesting. You will learn to be more precise and find exactly what you're looking for. But in this case, we don't need to worry about what we're looking for too much, because we know that if I press enter on JetBrains PyCharm, it's going to take me straight to this guy right here, which is what I'm looking for. Okay, so I'm looking for PyCharm, the Python IDE for professional developers by JetBrains, and by God, we're professional developers, okay? So what you want is the Community Edition. We're going to click on this screen here. We're going to click Download Now right here. It'll take us to another screen, and we're going to get the Community Edition. I will be using the Professional Edition. You will be using the Community Edition. The differences are not significant right now. If we decide to do a project in, for example, Django, which is a web framework, the differences may become significant. We will have to see. So just stick with Community for right now, okay? I'm not going to download this. It's not that complicated. Download it, install it, and then I will start PyCharm here in a minute and show you what that's going to look like when you first start up, because it's very different. And maybe I should explain. I should explain what an IDE is, okay? An IDE is an integrated development environment, and what that means is it is the place where most professional software developers work. They do the bulk of their work in an IDE. C# developers do their work in Visual Studio. Java developers might do their work in IntelliJ, a JetBrains product, or Eclipse, or any other number of IDEs. PyCharm is an IDE for Python, the language we care about in school right now. Okay, what an IDE does is it gives you lots and lots and lots of tools and features and other cool things that, like the Python idle does not have, or a text editor, and I'll show you right down here, Atom, a text editor, is not an IDE. Okay, it is a fancy, very fancy text editor, and it has lots of cool stuff, but it is not an IDE. Okay, and an IDE gives you all these cool tools, and you'll see here in a minute, but it makes development so much easier. We won't use it at first in class because it's a little overwhelming. It's a lot to see at once, but probably like a week or two into class, we will start to use PyCharm. We will move away from the idle, which is basically it is just a text editor with some text highlighting, and that is not adequate for what we need. Okay, so let's fast forward. I'm sure I can trim it. Oh yeah, that's right. I can trim it on YouTube. There we go. Special thanks to Mark Hammond. Thanks, Mark Hammond. Disable path length limit. Okay. All right, cool. So real quick, let's see. Python. There's Python 3.6, right? This is what you are familiar with, quite possibly, with regard to Python. Let's go ahead and increase our font to something that everybody can see. 36 should... Okay. Yeah, so you all are probably familiar with this right here. If not, no worries, no worries. You will become familiar with it over time. This is the Python interpreter. The Python interpreter takes code and runs it immediately. It's different from the idle or the PyCharm, the IDE will be using, in the sense that those programs you must run the program you've built. In this case, we can just say things like 70. Why not? Let's do 76 plus 23, 99. Okay. 8 plus 2, 8 minus 2. All these work. 3 modulo 1, 0. We'll talk about what modulo means. 3 divided by 1. Yeah, 3.0. Ooh, 3.0. It's a float. Float. All right. So that's the interpreter. The interpreter just does whatever we tell it to do immediately. That is different than what we'll be using on a regular basis, but it's good that you know about the interpreter, because one thing I like to do is when I see a new programming concept, I go to the interpreter. I start to mess around with it a little bit to see how it works, because having to run the file over and over and over again to see how it works can kind of be annoying. It's not efficient, and you know what? It's all about efficiency. So let's go instead and visit PyCharm. Okay, so you should have PyCharm installed. It looks like this little guy down here, PC. I'm getting kind of dark, but let's see. Let me change my brightness again real quick. I need to find a happy medium here. Okay, that works. So let's open up PyCharm, and this also takes a minute. Loading everything and starting in programming takes a minute. Once you start to actually do stuff, it doesn't take as long, but just loading things, it takes forever. Look at that. Subscription active until February 1st, 2019. I like to imagine that you're just looking at your phone doing something else while I'm waiting. Okay. Wow, back to bright and back to dark. Perfect. This is basically what it's going to be the entire time, so maybe I should bump up this brightness a little bit again. There we go. It works for me. I need to put like a big document over here. Yeah, there we go. Provide some light on the side. Yeah. Yeah. There. Just what we needed. See? I understand lighting. I get it. Professional YouTube. Okay. Let's not do this. Let's stop what you're doing, PyCharm. Let's do what you're going to do. The very first thing that you're going to see probably when you open up PyCharm is this screen right here. Okay, it's going to give you the options to create a new project. open or check out from version control. And as you may already know, version control in our case will always be with GitHub and Git, but you might not be there yet, so let's not worry about that too much. We'll talk about that in the next video, actually, is Git. That's a good idea. Okay, sweet. So whenever we think about working on Python stuff in PyCharm, we're always going to be talking about using projects. Okay, so we're going to create a new project. You will not have all these options, so we're just going to go with a pure Python project here. And you have the option of creating a new virtual environment, which is something that we will talk about in a later video. In this case, we're just going to go with existing interpreter, and we'll choose Python 3.6. Now, if you can't see this, this right here says existing interpreter, Python 3.6, but I think you can see it. All right, perfect. Now you can see in the top left corner of my screen, I've got a folder called Untitled. This is an untitled project. And maybe it will give me a chance to name my project. Should. I don't know why I didn't do that. Maybe I just missed the chance to do that. I think I did at the previous screen. Who cares? Let's make a Python file. So you're going to come up to this directory. That's what we call folders. Okay. We come up to this directory called Untitled. We're going to right click it. We're going to say New. We're going to say Python file. And we're going to name it something like Hello World. All right. After we have our Hello World, we're just going to say print and use the print function. We'll talk more about that later. Hello World. And then anywhere on the screen we want to do it, we can right click and we say Run Hello World. And look, it prints out Hello World. Very cool. Now notice everything that I did here. If you are brand new to programming, okay, all of these things, these quotations, these parentheses, these words, the way they're spaced, all this kind of stuff, it matters. This is not math where, I mean, math is amazing, okay? But this is not math where where someone's going to give you extra, or someone's going to give you credit, or this computer is not going to give you credit for being almost right. Okay, it doesn't exist. It's going to tell you there's a problem. So I'm going to give you an example. Like if I remove this quotation, not only is this going to give me a problem, but my awesome IDE is going to tell me there's something wrong immediately. So look at that. End of line while scanning string literal. That's not a problem. That's an issue. That's not good. It says syntax error. What's syntax? Syntax is all this stuff that has to be done just so that our programs can run. I don't know why I keep looking like over there when the camera's right there. I'm sorry. I'll do better. Okay. But that is PyCharm. You now have PyCharm. It's installed on your machine. You have Python. And this video is now 20 minutes long. So I think it's a good place to kind of shut it down, right? And talk a little bit more about all these things on our next video. Okay, but you should have Python on your machine. And you should have PyCharm. I'm doing it again. You should have Python on your machine and PyCharm ready to go. And I will see you on the next video. Or I'll see you in class. Either way. Later. Need to come up with a better outro. Bye.